Hey YouTube, it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles, and we kind of enjoyed taking a comment and responding to it and expanding that into a video of sorts. So we're going to do that again. Well, we have the whiteboard. I promise you we won't be doing just whiteboard. This is going to be a little short series that's going to come from a comment I'm going to read to you in a minute, or read to you part of it. And we're going to then take that and use it to make this video series, which will include showing snakes and whiteboard to get our point across on what we're talking about. So the comment comes from overseas. I'm not sure where, but obviously it's not America. And it says, global crisis. Thanks, Joe Biden. Price of a turkey went up. Thanks, Joe Biden. I actually think that one might have been Obama's fault. It's because of the global bird flu, funny Americans. So I know, Mark, I know you're not from here. This would be Mark DeWitt's comment. He says, sunset is just as simple as pie, so we can rationalize everything. Don't get me wrong, I love your channel, but sometimes you make me smile. Keep up the videos. We love you too, Mark. I'm going to hit a little hard on there. We're going to make a video kind of about that. And we did respond to his comment as well. So let's start talking about that. So when it comes to a snake price, because that's what that really made me think about, is, you know, he is right. A sunset is as simple as a pie, but the price is vastly different. So let's dissect what really goes into a snake price. And then we'll kind of go approve these, and we'll dissect each one of these and give you some in-depth things, because it's going to seem simple on the surface, and when we get down into a few levels, it's going to be a little bit more information. So when we were talking about pricing a snake, and I'm not talking about how I price snake. I'll tell you how I price a snake. Let's say I have snake morph A, okay? I then go and I look at a few places. Maybe shows I've been to, not really, maybe good old morph market. Maybe if I see somebody like selling, not selling, rehoming, right? If I see somebody rehoming on local Facebook, you know, I look at all that, I take a little bit of all this information that I'm finding right through here, it's not a really good circle, and I come up with my price, right? Which isn't going to be the lowest, it's not going to be the highest, sometimes it is. It usually falls somewhere in about the middle of that. And that's kind of how we do that. You know, I should have been a better prepared little Boy Scout. I had all my shit for cleaning this up, but I really didn't. There they are. So that's kind of how we price an individual snake. Morph A is obviously not a real morph, but if I make a new morph, we'll call it, we won't call it morph A. That'd be boring. And so anyway, that's kind of how that works. I should have left snake price up there. Guys, I am tired today. I am really, really tired today, obviously, because I am sucking at this. We'll fix it. Kurt's going to yell at me because I turned the board on accident. Sorry, Kurt. I'll fix it. Better? He gets mad if I get reflection. So how do we deal with it then when we're not talking about just pricing a snake? This is more what drives morph A to be the cost it is, whether it's low or whether it's high. Because obviously a pied. Okay, I'm going to look up the going rate of a sunset for me really quick. Pied, I just listed some. And I know some are going to say, I saw them cheaper than this, or I sold them for more than this. I'm going to tell you what I just sold two for, like yesterday, or day before yesterday, from the time of filming this, and they sold in like mere minutes. So we did a couple female pieds at 300 bucks, okay? And they sold, bam, bam, like that, no problemo. Made me think maybe I was a little too cheap. I probably could have done a little more. But, you know, there's a lot of them out there, Mark. So we just did 300 bucks. We usually are between 3 and 375. 350 is a good spot for pieds. Pieds come down just a tad. They'll go back up. But that's where we were at for female pieds. Can we find that sunset?
3,200.
For a female?
Yep.
All right. So on Morph Market right
that
now.
Was with an extra gene, but there were no single genes on Morph Market. That was with Spider, so it doesn't add much.
Okay, we'll say 3,000. We'll take off 250 for that spider, right? 3,000. So the difference is simply just a zero. But by God, what a difference a zero makes. We're talking finances, right? If the zero's on the back end, huge, huge deal. So why? Because this is a simple recessive, and this is, well, a simple recessive. So there are three things, guys, that are going to drive a snake price, and only three. I shouldn't say only three. There's probably some things I'm missing. So the reason behind it, we'll just go the difference in a $3,000 snake versus a $300 snake. Okay, So we're going to say here, and it's going to be some, or all. That looks like US, but it's really a verse. There we go. Of these factors. One is going to be, I was going to write desirability, but I'll be honest, spelling on the fly on a whiteboard is not my forte, so we're just going to go with how it looks. Yeah, I want that factor, right? Desirability. Desirability is going to be a big key. It's going to push a lot of things in the market. It really is. And this is amazing. And we'll kind of dissect what goes into that here in just a few. This ain't going to be one of our long whiteboard ones. Number 2 is going to be difficulty. Probably spelled that wrong. I don't give a crap. Okay, I'm not really worried. We're just kind of type. So difficulty. What that really is how hard is it to make? Well, when we did in this example, with this being pied and this being another simple recessive in sunset, the difficulty is the exact same, which is what Mark was pointing out. And he's correct. The difficulty is the exact same, yet the price is that different. But that's because there's other factors at play, and all 3 of these play a role. 3 is what I think is the biggest culprit in here, and we'll talk about that too, is rare. How rare is it? Rare, right? And rare, well, we'll save that for the part of the book. But these 3 things are going to drive price. If you have more than one of these, especially with this one involved, it's going to cause the price to be a total fluctuation. And what I mean is, if it's this and this, it's going to be a lot higher than if it's just difficult. If it's rare and it looks great, has a high desirability, it's going to be much more valuable than if it was just difficult. If it's difficult and it looks great, but maybe it's really not that rare anymore, which is where we start to see things like, honestly, some of these clown combos that we've been ragging on lately. You've lost the rarity in a lot of the clown combos, you're going to see prices fall. However, when you get the clown combo that's got a couple of genes that just looks really good, your demand is going to rise, right? So this all comes back down to supply and demand. As we talk about supply and demand in business, this is what this really is. How it looks, I want that, is going to drive demand, right? Difficulty will drive supply down. Rarity drives demand, or actually it does 2 things. Rarity tends to drive up demand while also driving down supply. This is probably the biggest kicker in anything, because if you can drive up demand and down supply, boy, you're going to have a highly valuable snake, right? These 2 linked together will push that demand through the roof while pushing that supply down. Same with these 2, but the rarity, this one takes the longest for the market to catch up. When something is rare, it's going to take a while for the market to get there. When it's not rare, and maybe it's kind of difficult, but if it's really difficult, the market will never catch up because nobody wants to take the time to do that. This is what we were talking about literally in our last video. We were talking about how triple recessives are going to hold value. It was this. This is a driving force by why triple recessives hold value, because it's hard. There's a lot of difficulty level there. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, or a lot of money to put into it. It is difficult and painful to do. That keeps supply down, which then increases prices. Where you run into problems is when you don't have any of these. So let me show you what I mean. Remember, it's about desirability, rarity, and difficulty. Those 3 things. I need to get some actual whiteboard cleaner up into the bitch. Roar! So, let's look at the gene pastel for this purpose. Verse acid. Kev, you want to price me an acid really quick? Yep. Okay, we're going to put this at $90. That's about what they go for. So why is this so low? Well, we all know what's the demand on a pastel. It's I'd say On a single gene pastel, the demand's pretty low. We're going to call that D. The D is low. The rarity, the R factor, I like that, is also very low. It's not rare at all. You can't swing a dead cat and not hit a pastel, right? The other one would be the, what did we say it was, Kurt? Desirability? Oh, difficulty. Well, we can't have two Ds. I mean, double Ds are great, but it makes it confusing, right? So instead of double Ds, what do we want to write down there? Because you can't have two Ds. Well, you can, but it doesn't work really well for our purposes today. So we'll go with...
you can change desirability to L for
looks. Okay. We'll do that. Looks. So then we have a D. DRL. Anyway, I don't know why that's funny to me. It just kind of is. I think there's a little TV show or something like that. I don't know. And it's going to be down for that too, right? It's going to drive the market down because there's no difficulty in making a pastel. There's no rarity in making a pastel. And looks-wise, this is something people buy to add to it, or because they just like the snake, they're getting a pet of their first snake. So because of all that, and then obviously, rarity is a supply, so you have a low price. Did you find that acid?
500 for female.
500 for just a female acid. So female acid, that's dropped a lot, wouldn't you agree? So acid's coming down, which should be expected. It's been out for a while now. So why is this one there? Difficulty on an acid, it's going to drive the market down. This, at the end of the day, is the same difficulty as a pastel. You breed an acid to something, you're going to make some acids. Breed a pastel to something, you're going to make some pastels. This is not recessive. It's nothing like that. I don't believe. Is there even a super form? Have we had a super acid yet?
Not that I'm aware of.
Maybe it's out there. So anyway.
I'm pretty sure it's like leopard. Not visible if it is.
So you got same difficulty. But here's where it's pushing that up. The rarity is driving the market up. This is a lot more rare than pastel, pushing our market up, right? And then from a looks department, I don't know, we're going to take a kind of a vote here. Kurt, which one do you think looks better, a single gene pastel or a single gene acid?
acid.
Caleb?
Oh, acid.
I think so too. So we're going to say the looks is pushing it up. Now I'm going to tell you all something though. Sometimes these things change. What I mean by that, the difficulty really never changes. It's as hard as it is. It doesn't really get easier or harder. The rarity obviously changes the more they get bred. That's why acids are only 500 now, and not so long ago that would have been a $2,500 snake. The looks, part of that is the rarity. You know what I mean? Like if you were to go to Sweden, let's say, okay, maybe a tall blonde ain't quite as desirable as it once was because supposedly in Sweden there's 1,000 tall blondes on every corner. I don't think that's quite true, but my point I'm trying to make is once something gets more common, it also becomes less desirable in the looks department as well. There was a point in time where pastel, the looks would have been through the roof, partly because the rarity was too. None of us remember it unless you're like, I don't know, Brian or Kevin or somebody who's been in this for 30 years. Shouldn't drop the F word. Sorry, I know that's not classy on YouTube. Somebody wanted us to be classy on YouTube. Why in the holy hell would I worry about being classy on YouTube? Listen, I'm going to tell you all something straight up. If you're watching our channel on YouTube hoping to see something classy, our slogan is want to see my balls. The ship of being classy left a long time ago. The port got burned down by the Vikings and we can't even go back. So classy is out the window, never to return. We got into this for fun, not to have our pinkies in the air and sip coffee. So classy is out. But although, shout out to one of our lost friends in old Classy Herps. That was classy. I do miss that guy. That was still sad, if anybody remembers that. But we aren't going to dwell on sadness. We're going to dwell on happiness. So this is how the market works. Hopefully that gives you a good example of what these three things do. Desirability. Difficulty, rarity, and looks. Difficulty, rarity, and looks. And that's why you get a difference of 500 versus 90, 3,000 versus 300. In our next videos, we're going to break down what drives that, what drives that, what drives that. And you're going to say, that's going to be really simple. You're going to tell me what looks is driven as what looks good. Kind of. It can be subjective, and it can also be pushed. You can change this. You can change it and difficulty, what it's going to do or how it's going to help things hold, how it's going to work with this together, and how those are all going to play as a nice thing. These two may have to be one video, actually, we'll see. But that's kind of where we're at. And that's what's going to really dictate the price and value of a snake as it goes from $30,000, which Sunset was not that long ago, to $3,000 to $300. And for those that say Sunset will never hit $300, I got news for you. This is going to happen to Sunset. It's going to take a while. And this is not me saying don't buy a $3,000 Sunset. You can buy a $3,000 Sunset. Let's say you did. Let's say you paid $3,000, well, for a total of a few Sunsets. Let's say you spent, I'm going to show you why. This is not me being anti. I always get blamed of, oh, you're just being anti against this and you don't like that morph and you're owning the people, you're just scaring people and being an ass. No, I'm not being an ass. I'm not telling you it won't be successful. I'm just giving you the actual way, as I see things, how they work. Let's say you spent $4,500 on a Sunset project. Kurt's going, okay, because Kurt really wants to get Sunset. And for your $4,500, you bought male visual, 3 female hets. Probably get that done for that price, okay? And let's say you raise them up and you breed them, and by the time you breed them, this has happened to visual Sunsets. They're now 300, but you get 18 eggs. Out of those 18, you're going to have about 9 be visual. 9 times 3 is 2,700. Yeah, that kind of sucks, right? Because you didn't get your whole money back. And I don't think this is going to happen that soon. I think you'd actually get more than 300. It'll eventually get there. I don't think it's going to be the next couple of years, but bear with me. By your next year, you're going to make those same 9 again, plus you're selling the hats, not even including them. And that 2,700 now is 4 plus 14, that's 54. That's new math. 5,400. Whoa! 400. Yeah, there you go. 5,400. And what that's going to mean is now you've made your investment back plus $1,000. And then the year after that, you're going to do the same thing. This is just playing the odds out. So now you're going to be, well, that's actually going to turn into an 8 because you're going to add that up and get 8,100. So 8,100 after 5 years from a $4,500 investment that keeps paying that same investment. Because I do think with desirable, right? Desirable looks recessives, there is a bottom to that market. That's why Pied has kind of hit the bottom and it floats around there. Sometimes goes a little lower, sometimes goes a little higher, but this is kind of where we're at with Pied. We've been there for a long time. You're going to see the same thing here. You're going to see the same with all of them. And you're going to make your money. So this is not in any way saying, don't do this. It's just, this is what drives a snake. This is what makes price. Kurt, anything you want to add?
No.
All right, Caleb, anything you want to add?
No, I don't think so.
Are you tired of me yet saying, Caleb, look this up for me really quick because I didn't plan these videos?
No, I don't like doing that. I do that in my free time anyways.
Yeah. If you guys think we pre-planned this shit, let me tell you how these work really quick. And then I'm going to go to Patreon and we're going to discuss a few things on there I have yet to figure out. We come up with a loose idea. That's going to make a video or 2 or 3, in this case, at least 3, maybe 4. And that loose idea, then Kurt turns on the camera and he lets me do my thing. Sometimes he shakes his head and like, why in the hell do I do that? But we typically don't script anything because then it comes off as like rigid. You know, you can tell the people that do that. All right, that is all I got. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time when we're going to dig into those traits and explain each one of those and how you and how the market can control those traits to have a better outcome in things, or how you can read the tea leaves, so to speak, to get the best out of what your investment is, to see where that is going to go on that desirability level, on that different level. We'll be showing you some actual snakes to prove my point. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.